the Dylan Raiola sweepstakes continues, he's going everywhere. If you look at his past experience from like high school to committing, decommitting, committing, well, now he is choosing a new path. He's going to go to Oregon. He's transferred from Nebraska. He's going to be an Oregon Duck. Does he sit behind Dante Moore if Dante Moore decides to come back from the NFL, or Dante Moore might decide to enter the draft now? But before we even get to Raiola, let's just ask that question here. If Dante Moore returns, what hypothetical possibility here? Raiola going to hit the portal again? You going to add to that resume, or is he going to sit behind and let Dan Lanning teach him up and develop?
I have to, just based on the track record, assume that he will be on his way out. But I mean, this is why we like the one portal. Having two portals. This is like this means effectively nothing last year. If Raiola commits in this January window, it means less than nothing. It is a complete question mark. There's a very real chance that he moves on. Now, at least that he will be staying there for a year. And we'll have to see, obviously, what happens with Moore and whether or not Raiola plays. But my assumption is that Raiola's assuming he's going to play. He's under the kind of the knowledge that he's going to play. If he doesn't end up playing, he's probably going to be pretty upset about it and will be out before the season's even over, right? Like there's so many guys that are hitting the portal with games left even to play. So that's just my guess. And obviously, I don't know Raiola. I don't know what's going on in Oregon. That's just some guy in front of a microphone saying that. But the track record is absolutely there. And I wonder if the only reason Raiola committed was just because there was that video of Patrick Mahomes in an Oregon jersey. It's a very real chance.
Yeah, funny story there. Everybody making the comparison jokes of Raiola looking like Patrick Mahomes, which he does look like him. But Mahomes lost the bet, and Texas Tech lost to Oregon in the college football playoffs. He wears an Oregon uniform or a jersey. They put it on social media, and a week later, Raiola commits to Oregon. So, I mean, he's not doing himself any favors with that one. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, Oregon loses in the college football playoffs. They don't lose nice in the college football playoffs. They lost over the last couple years to Ohio State, eventual national champions. They lose to Indiana. Most likely, everybody's got them as the favorite as national champions this coming Monday. Dante Moore, we'll see if he becomes a New York Jet or if he becomes back to Oregon. Sounds like he's going to be in some sort of shade of green next year while playing football. When you look at Dylan Raiola's stats, though, 2024, he threw for 2,800 yards, 13 touchdowns, 11 picks. Last year, hit 2,000 on the dot, 18 touchdowns, 6 picks. His turnover ratio got a lot better. Yards got a little worse, but whatever on that case. He also got injured. He didn't play the entire season. Rushing-wise, he's not a good rusher. He's not a good mobile quarterback, and that's something that's definitely surprised me.
That was the biggest thing that when we were going through a lot of these players, looking through the transfer portal, I was like, okay, Raiola, I think it's literally because everyone makes him out to be Patrick Mahomes because he is so similar and he plays into that. I was like, yeah, he's got probably a couple hundred rushing yards. I don't think he's a massive rusher, but I assume he's semi-mobile. I mean, Zane Flores just committed to Iowa State. And he's got like 100 rushing yards last year, so it doesn't really take a whole lot. No, he have like negative 60 in the last 2 years or something like that. It's just
negative 152 on his career.
Yeah. It's about. I thought it was right about one and negative
sack
60
yards obviously come into play, but still wild.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how his career pans out, and maybe a coaching change in Oregon will open up his game a little bit more and kind of, if not change it, but at least tune it up and I don't know, lead to more offensive success. I feel like Nebraska is maybe not the best place for that. It's definitely better than it's been over the last 10 years, but I'm excited to see what he can do and if he plays, but I don't think this is the answer for Oregon. I think if you're Oregon, you're trying to even find a different quarterback because there are so many players out there right now. Hey, quick timeout. If you haven't already, hit subscribe down below. We're live literally every morning during the week talking about the biggest stories in sports. So you hitting subscribe is completely free and helps us out more than you know. It's a win-win all around. All right, back to the clip.
Yeah, I'm a little iffy on this one. Like, he's been up and down. Obviously, he was the number one recruit in the 2024 class. A lot of people were expecting him to go to Georgia, and who knows what that kind of career would have turned out for him under Kirby Smart. Then he goes to Nebraska. He takes a chance on himself with Matt Rule here, obviously trying to build him up. NFL experience, remember, former coach of the Panthers, as he kind of sandwiched his college coaching career. He rebuilt Baylor, what was it, Temple, I think, and then wound up going to Nebraska. and it just didn't work out. And I think they put way too many eggs in the Raiola basket. They won't do that in Oregon. It won't just be the Raiola show. It'll be everything else. He'll be a cog in the machine. And that's kind of what the cool thing about that with Oregon. I think it fits. Obviously, if you look at the past quarterbacks of Oregon over the last 10 years, when you're talking like Bo Nix, you're talking Dante Moore, you're talking Justin Herbert, you're talking about all these players, Marcus Mariota, if you want to go even farther back, they get to the league and they're usually towards the top of college football in their final seasons at Oregon. And Oregon is usually one of the top teams. If Raiola is QB1 next year, the way we're sitting right now, obviously this team was very good this past season. They were one of the best teams in the Big Ten. I think you can make the argument the Big Ten was the best conference in college football this past year, at least on the top heavy side for sure. Is Oregon right back in the mix? Are they a college football playoff team with Raiola at quarterback next year?
I think a better question is, how much does Raiola's stock rise? I don't think we're asking the right question, asking about Oregon as an institution. I think that they're probably going to be just about fine. If nothing else, it'll be kind of like the Steelers are, or not the Steelers, the Texans, like we just talked about. Like their defense is going to, carry them a long ways or whatever. Like they're going to find a way to win games. But how much does Dylan Raiola's stock benefit from that if he is the guy? Because I think that's part of the reason you make this move is, a guy from Nebraska, as much as this isn't fair, just doesn't have the same shine to him as a guy from Oregon, right? It's just not. It's like having a guy come out of with the exact same stats. If a guy came out of Iowa State versus out of Oregon, Oregon. I was going to say Georgia. Like a guy like out of an SEC school with the exact same stats is going to be looked at very differently, and so. Yes, it's still within the Big Ten, but Nebraska is not looked at the same way Oregon is. And I think we have to look at this as a potential move for Dylan Raiola to just way like 10x his stock for almost no reason, right? He could have a totally mediocre year, but how many guys have we seen get to the league that have been like in the last month of play, they just ball out. And then during the NFL draft process, everyone jumps on a guy and it's like, oh my gosh, this guy might be like legit. And then all of a sudden he's, projected to go 3 as far as quarterbacks go or whatever. So I think this is a move that makes a lot of sense for Dylan Raiola. I think for Oregon, there are a lot of question marks for me. And I'm not saying that Dylan Raiola can't play as a quarterback. I'm not saying that at all. I was shocked by the lack of production when looking into his actual stats, as opposed to what I think a lot of people, how people talk about him. And so that's where my thought process goes immediately, is to his draft stock. Hey, just wanted to thank you for watching the entire video. If you haven't already, consider hitting subscribe down below. It helps the channel grow and helps us bring better content to you guys every single day. We're live literally every Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 Eastern talking about the biggest stories in sports. So if you haven't dropped by, you really should. We love interacting with chatters, hearing your guys' opinions. You could easily become a part of the show. So hit subscribe and tell a friend. I'll see you in the morning.